Hey there. How are you? Your hair looks nice today. Really does. Did you do something different with it? No? Just looks this nice all the time? That's great. You look more confident today. You're walking straighter. You're walking straighter. You're standing up straighter. You feel good. I hope you feel good. I hope you have a great day. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Usually Wrong, episode 58. This is with Peter Arsenault, which is a great one. If you'd like to come see me do some shows, here are some things that you should come to that you could find at natenolf.com. If you're in the New Kensington area tomorrow night, that's Wednesday, May 8th, doing a Lana Bryce's comedy showcase at the Blind Pig Saloon. Show that I'm putting on at Quinn Brewing Company in Irwin. That's this Saturday, May 11th at 8 p.m. You can get tickets straight from my website. Doing the Whiskey Bear Comedy Festival next week, starting May 15th, going to, I think, 21st. I'll be in Columbus, Ohio. You could check website for dates on that. Doing Comedy Night at the American Serbian Club inside of the Whiskey Bear Comedy Festival. I'm coming back for that. That's in the south side of Pittsburgh at the American Serbian Club. That's Friday, May 17th. Get tickets on the website there. And there's tons more, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm really excited about it. Got a lot of shows on the calendar, so come on out to some of those if you can. If you'd like free tickets, just direct message me, and I'll get them for you. This is with Peter Arsenault, who is very funny, a very nice guy. I've had the chance to get to know him a little bit in the past, but it was fun to sit down for an hour and talk to him. We talk about a lot. We talk about comedy. We talk about relationships. A lot of stuff. A lot of fun. And I hope you enjoy it. So also subscribe to the show. Just do it. Just click the subscribe button. You'll feel good. You'll make me feel good. And leave a review. It works out well for all of us. So enjoy Usually Wrong, episode number 58 with Peter Arsenault.
When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that and forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You will be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living. That is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Right. Right.
I did pizzas, so I just made pizzas over and over.
Can you do the flip? Can you flip pizza?
Oh, yeah.
Can you really?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We make pizzas here.
Yeah, can you do the flip?
No, I can't do the
Yeah.
flip. No, I every time I try and she teaches me.
Are we
how,
recording? Am I loud enough?
Oh yeah, we're going. Can you put the microphone closer
I can
to
definitely
here?
put the microphone
Have you listened to an episode before?
No.
I don't care. I really don't care. But every single episode, hold the microphone like right here.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. The levs are good, man. I'm not gonna wear these the whole time, but like I've been doing this. You're 58 or something, and I cannot like. Almost every episode, people be like, I can hear you and I can't hear the guest. I can hear the guest and I can't hear you very well.
Oh, whatever.
Not like a tech guy.
What are
It's a casual podcast.
Clearly.
Clearly. I don't know what that means.
Chilling in your apartment, got the cat.
Yeah, dude, you're the second person that I've done it in the apartment. It's usually been in my office, and I was like, I want to do them here.
Your work my work would never let me record a podcast in my office.
Oh, yeah. Well, I work with my dad.
Oh, okay.
It's not,
there you go.
It's not. How'd you get into comedy? How long have you been doing it? Because you're one of those people that, like, I'm not sure. Because you're one of those people like everybody else who would be like, oh, okay, Peter's around. Peter's been doing it for like 2 months. And then people tell me, oh, no, Peter's been doing it for like 11 years. How long have you?
11 years.
11
no,
years.
I don't know. Year and change, probably like November of, I guess that would be 2017. I started when Kaylee started. Her and I started at the same time. Yeah,
that's funny because it's like her and Dan Ferreira. I thought whenever we talk about classes, I'm like, we started together, and then I talked to Kaylee about it, and she's been like, no, you've been doing it for like 7 months longer.
Yeah,
than I have.
Yeah.
What do you feel about your class? Do you feel, are you able to?
I mean, it's just her and I. There's nobody.
Is it really?
I mean, that's the thing is, honestly, I have no idea.
What about Keon?
Keon's younger than us, I think.
Is
I
he
mean, I don't
younger?
know. I would, like, if you're considering classes or, like, cliques, I would consider them both in my clique.
Okay.
But, like, I don't know if I'd consider, I mean, I don't know. I think Keon's probably as good as I am, but I don't know time-wise if
Right.
we've been doing it the same amount of time.
Right. What
Yeah.
made you want to start?
Oh, I don't know. That's like I've always wanted to do it. I went to a show at the arcade, and then they had the person who did the best in the class for whatever year was like they did it, and I was like, oh, I can definitely beat them. But
But that exact thing that you just said, that is what makes you start doing it to me.
Oh yeah.
When
Well, I
you
mean, I
see-
wanted to do it, but then it's like, oh well, I'm gonna suck at it anyways, and then you're like, oh well, I'm better than this guy.
But when you saw that, was it like your mind was like, okay, this is attainable now?
Well, it's almost like, okay, people are all right with you not being great to start.
Oh, that's
it's like
fine.
people will
Yeah.
people will still give you opportunities even if you're not, because you never, like, when you're not doing comedy. I never even seen live stand up till I started doing stand up, except that one show at the
Interesting.
arcade. Yeah,
Yeah, like you never went to like a professional,
No,
like a professional
never.
comedian.
yeah.
And-
But like I watch stuff on Netflix, and you're like, oh well, it's like you're either Netflix or you're nobody.
Yeah, well that's right.
Yeah,
it
which
feels.
I mean is still kind of true, but like.
Yeah, it's true, but that's exactly why I asked attainable. That's the word to
Yeah.
me. When I went to Marchie's open mic, right? Like I
Yeah.
went to Hambones that first time and I
okay,
saw it.
yeah.
It was like, okay, it's not that this is bad by any means,
yeah, no.
but I saw it be attainable, and
Well,
I saw
it's-
people working on stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that it's bad, but there's a space that you figure out that there is a space that you can like work on it, that you can practice.
Yes.
Because it's like, that's one of the things. It's like, I didn't even know how you practice it. How do you write or how do you do anything?
That's all it is.
And then it was just like, oh, just go to open mics as much as you can.
Yeah.
And so then I just did that. And I guess I still do that, but yeah.
That's what it is. You don't understand how you can actually get good at this particular field. Like I can tell you how to get good at a guitar. I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit in my basement. I'm
Yeah.
gonna play the guitar until I can play a Led Zeppelin song, and then I'm good at guitar. With
Yeah.
comedy, whenever you start out, you're right. You watch Netflix, and it's like, okay, that's a million light years away, and it might be now still, but
Yeah.
like that is so far away
Yeah.
from where do I
Oh,
go
yeah.
to? How do those people get good at it?
Well, and it's also like when you're doing guitar, it's like, how do you do guitar? You learn other people's songs 1st. Nobody's going to be like,
that's
just
interesting.
do other people's bits to get better. to practice doing comedy, just do famous people's bits.
That's it. That's
Like,
another great
nobody's going
point.
to say that. So it's like, not only are you learning how to perform, but you've also got to learn how to write the song too
Oh,
at
dude,
the same time.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. That's just kind of the things you don't really think about.
Yeah, and I saw Monica and I went to see Mulaney and Pete Davidson,
Oh, okay.
and it was we talk about it a bit. It was more interesting than it was funny because I saw
That's not good.
it. Well, it was good for. It's not good, but it was good for me because I saw Mulaney fuck up lines
Yeah.
and say stuff that I say at open mics. Excuse me, like he did 45 minutes of unpolished material, and that is something you've never seen from him,
Yeah.
right? Because you
Oh,
watch
yeah.
the Netflix
Oh, yeah,
specials and you
exactly.
watch
Yeah.
New in Town and his earlier stuff, and it's like this is a guy who has every word nailed down, and I'll remember it for as long as I do comedy. He fucked up a joke, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then he was like, that worked at the earlier show. I'm like, motherfucker, that's what I say.
That's a throw. Yeah, that's
I'm
a
like,
throwaway line we all do. Oh yeah, definitely.
And it was so fascinating, and it was almost that show is almost necessary for people like me, I think, to be like, okay, that
yeah.
is somebody that I am on record 55 episodes saying John Mulaney's my favorite, and the way he writes is, I think, the best. Watching him work on material to this day,
Yeah.
like it doesn't just come naturally. It's,
yeah.
it's 55 notebooks, Peter,
Oh, yeah.
of jokes that don't work to get to
Oh
the
yeah.
comeback.
I mean, it's even just like, how many times he's doing it. It's just like, oh yeah,
Right.
I mean, that was probably his 40th stop on his tour.
Yeah.
And he's still working on things. So it's like, yeah, of course he's just,
Yeah.
he's a human, I guess. It humanizes them.
It
humanizes a lot of people doing comedy.
I heard something interesting, and I don't really remember where I heard it. It's probably a Pete Holmes podcast, but I think the word genius is overused. Where, okay, let's say I'm the greatest comic in the world, and people look at me like, oh, how does that guy do it, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Let's not even take me. Let's take George Carlin, right?
Sure.
This is a guy who revolutionized stand-up comedy. That guy's a genius. Like, he's a genius at what he does. And it's like, okay, well, you've seen the end product, but you don't see the 55 notebooks, the hundreds of hours of actually working on stuff to get to that one special, right? Like, and I think people use genius as that's a great point. People use genius as a scapegoat to, oh, I'm lazy. That's laziness. I can't get to where he or she is.
I mean, I obviously think there's some level of either innate talent or, intrinsic level of hard work you're willing to put in to get to that level. So I guess it just kind of depends on what you consider being a genius. I mean, that's the same, like, you would call Einstein a genius. I'm sure he didn't think of all of his theorems without practicing and messing up a bunch of times too. So it's, I don't know. I think that's in comedy, like that, you see that a lot with people when they start, and then, you can tell the people who will do it and then never will do it again. Anyone after the first time you bomb, if you do it again, you're like, all right. I think a lot of people are like, all right, that's when I can not take you seriously, but then it's like, you've got some skin in the game.
Okay, that's another great point too. It's
like willing to fail and do it again.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, a lot of people, they just see the successes and they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to get up. Like, I don't know. We see so many people who do it for the first time at open mics.
Right.
And it's painful.
Well, it's also the people like I look to people who go to competitions for they never go to open mics. They don't work on anything.
Really? I've never done a competition.
Have you never done?
I've done one at the arcade and I did not like it at all.
Why?
I don't know.
I agree with you.
I think comedy is a competition of you versus the audience, not you versus other people. Like, I'm trying to beat the crap out of the audience.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be worried about these other comics. You want to pay attention to what they're doing and stuff, but it's not. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, most of these people are my friends.
Yeah.
So it's like, I like competing against my friends, but it's like, I don't know. I'm all right if they win. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy for everyone. There's enough success to go around.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way, but I also feel the pull of an ego. I feel the pull, and I almost think that's necessary. I've had conversations with people about this too, is I don't think if you look at somebody, whether they're your friend or not, and look at them on a show and say, like, you see them on the lineup for a show and be like, motherfucker, why am I not in that spot? Like, whether it's your friend or not, I think part of that is a little essential. I think part of that is, yes, I understand there's a wealth of opportunity for everybody, especially in this scene, because there's so much comedy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I think there has to be some ego being like, why am I not there? I'm gonna work harder to have more opportunities like they do. Do you think that type of ego is essential in comedy?
I definitely think you have to have an ego to do it. I don't know, in terms of me personally, I think some part of my motivation is to do that. Like, I want to work really hard so that any opportunities I get, I succeed in them. You know? So it's like, I don't want to blow an opportunity. I'm going to be ready whenever anything comes. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. I don't really see people. I used to see people getting booked and be like, that should be me. And then it's like, oh, well, like, I'm not even taking advantage of all the free opportunities that I get and going to every open mic anyways. So do I really even deserve that? I mean, I will say there are definitely people when you see them get booked and you're like, oh, I never see that person ever. I don't know if they're like, but like, I don't know. Then it's also like, I'm sure they're doing something that I'm not clearly.
You're so chill, man. Like, I get, but that's more enviable to me than what I'm saying. That's more enviable to me of a personality in comedy than I need to be crushing everybody at all times.
I mean, I'm definitely competitive. Like, I know Kaylee and I are like best friends, and there was this one time I saw her, I don't know, I was like kind of slacking off or whatever, and I saw her and she was like doing really well.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, how did you get, I was like, how did you get so good? And she's like, oh, I'm working harder than you are. And I was like, well, we're never letting that happen again.
Yeah, man.
And like, yeah, she's my best friend, but I still want to grind her into the dirt. But
no, dude, I understand. Like,
Yeah.
I've had other people say it to me too. Is like, why aren't you coming out more? Why aren't you coming to mics? Like, you could be such a better comic if you were just at more mics, man. And there are people, that kind of stuff is like essential too. People being like, why aren't you here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think
could be doing better.
Yeah, we definitely all push each other pretty hard.
Yeah.
I think even just being the like casual throwaway, like, oh yeah, I got booked on doing this, or I got booked on doing, like, you know, people always are like, it's the ego. People are trying to brag whatever they're doing, and that makes me want to work harder. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Do you think it's people bragging, or do you think it's people genuinely like you could be better? It's different.
I mean,
for
it depends
everybody.
on depends on who the person is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
with Kaylee, like I trust. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
you want me to be a better
I
stand-up
mean,
comic.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I think that's one of the best things about having good friends is getting honest feedback.
Yeah.
Because that was something I really struggled with when I started, where I was kind of just like, people would be like, oh, good job. And it's like, okay, but like then like finally talking, like making friends who are comfortable enough telling you like, yeah, that joke sucks. Or like, yeah, like your wording is really off. Or like when you do this motion, it like really messes it up. Or just stuff like that where it's like, you need to get people around you who you trust and who care about you and want you to be better too, to give you that kind of feedback.
Is it making those friends that made you feel like you're a part of the scene?
Oh, 100%.
Was it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's so great to be doing comedy.
I agree, man.
This is like
Just
the
talk
dream.
about it. I agree
This
with
is
you.
like the dream.
Do you feel that way?
Oh,
I absolutely feel. I understand what you're
100%.
saying.
I mean, this is I've definitely been in places where I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go do stand up like this is, and not be what I want to do at all.
Yeah.
And you do those things where you're doing gigs and it's like this is pretty rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know, man. It's like I don't really know what I would rather be doing.
Yeah.
Ever, most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally nothing I care about more.
Yeah.
Probably.
What?
And I'm a pretty obsessive person, so when I focus on something, it generally takes most of my attention.
Have you cared about other things like this in the past? Maybe not even to this extent, but are there other things that you find your mind focusing on more than this?
Right now, no.
How about in
never.
the past?
Yeah, I mean, so that's, like, have you ever heard of Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like really...
I never played it.
I was really into Magic the Gathering, and it was pretty much the same thing where it's like, you're playing on like an amateur level, and like I would play so much, pretty much until college, and like with a couple breaks, but like I would play like compulsively.
Yeah.
And like consume the same thing, like consume content, watch people's videos on how to get better, like read articles about everything. And then I had some time where I was like, yeah, Magic's not, like, it's just not really doing it for me. I moved to Pittsburgh. I didn't really have any friends who played. I didn't really want to play that much anymore. And there was kind of just like wandering around till I found my next thing, which is this.
Can I ask, and I don't mean this to be offensive at all, Magic, but do you find when you got into stand-up, do you find compulsively focusing on this more fulfilling because there is opportunity for more potential? I look at that and say, okay, Peter was focused on Magic the Gathering. Is there room to develop as a human being, being so compulsively into a game rather than being so compulsively into stand-up, which builds, for me personally, build confidence, self-esteem, built writing potential? Is there part of that?
I mean, I don't know. For Magic, it was like my math skills, were off the charts. Like for just from playing.
I didn't even know there was like math.
Oh yeah, it's like very heavy math. like based and like game theory and stuff like. I mean,
Oh, interesting.
But I think I don't know that I've really grown. I don't know. I guess I really didn't think that much about working on myself as I have since I've like kind of parallel to starting comedy, where I wasn't,
Right.
that wasn't really something, I mean, I didn't really have that introspection of myself or
Yeah.
like really work, like something I really try to focus on when I'm doing open mics or even is just like deliberate practice.
Yeah.
And kind of like focusing on the areas of things that I want to get better.
Yeah.
And kind of just like making sure that every time I'm doing something, I'm doing with purpose. And I mean, that's obviously not really something I was thinking about when I was 18, 19 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
You find yourself when you get into stand-up being more introspective and say,
yeah.
okay,
I
what
mean,
are
you have
things
to.
that, not even with comedy, but like, yes, writing and stuff, and what do I actually think about things? And
Mm-hmm.
I find out that I'm more opinionated than I thought that I was.
Definitely.
But for me personally, I found myself being more introspective, but that also leads to, okay, how can I be a better person? How can I actually be a better human being? How can I be a better boyfriend? How can I be a better son? How can I be a better, religious person? What is it? Name it. I think I found a lot of value in stand-up outside of the comedy world.
Okay. That's awesome. That's
No,
awesome, dude. I'm so
just
happy
seeing
for
it.
you.
Thank you, Peter.
No,
I'm
yeah.
just curious if you have anything to say that, because it's like, I think comedy allows you to be, to work on so many other areas of your life that is not telling jokes.
I mean, have you ever done like therapy?
No.
I mean, that's kind of what I do therapy all the time.
Yeah.
And that's something that's, I know a lot of people are like, comedy is my therapy, but
Yeah.
therapy is my therapy.
Therapy is your therapy.
And like, that's really helped me kind of figure out areas that I want to grow in and kind of, dealing with
Yeah.
problems like efficiently and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely agree with you in terms of comedy being something that it gets you hyper focused into certain aspects
Right.
that you would never really look at.
Right.
Or even just
Yeah.
like, I think one thing that stand up I've really noticed is like, all do or go to events, even if if I know I'm going to feel uncomfortable, if I don't think it's going to be a good time, you're always like, oh, well, at least I'll get some material out of it.
Funny. Fucking funny, Peter. Yes.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh,
that
dude,
is- yeah.
absolutely. Like all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I will put myself in positions just for material. I'll take
Oh, yeah.
gigs. Just exactly what you were saying.
Oh, yeah.
Have I told you about the story about the prom gig?
Oh, Jesus. No.
Oh, I haven't told you.
No.
People have heard. I'm a broken record with how many times I've told this on here, but I was asked to do the after prom at my old high school because they couldn't find a hypnotist.
Oh, yeah.
The
We had
show
a
was at
hypnotist.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
and it was after they were at prom. They asked me to do 45 minutes, and I should have said I have 15 minutes. And what I
Yeah.
did say was yes. I would love to do it and take
Wait,
your
you
money.
did 45
I did.
minutes?
I was on stage for 45 minutes.
I was on stage.
It went. That's exactly it. It went well for 5.
Yeah.
And then I literally was on stage for 40 minutes just putzing around. I
Yeah.
asked them for 2 things. I asked them for a bar stool and a microphone. And you don't even need the bar stool. You know what they
Yeah.
didn't have? They didn't have a bar stool or a microphone. So I was up there
Damn,
with
dude.
a water bottle for 45 minutes just yelling at kids
You
who want to have sex and do
you should have tried
drugs.
to hypnhypnetize them.
I
It probably
wanted
would
to.
have been
That's
more
what Monica
successful.
says. She's like, you should have gone out there and like been the hypnotist
Yeah.
for 45 minutes.
Been like, did this work?
That's really fun. I think that's really funny.
No, yeah, but yeah, no. I mean, I'll put myself out, like, even just, like, yeah, I don't know, like, I don't really want to go do this, but like, oh, you know what? Like, honestly, it's like, I also doing comedy makes me realize you need to have a life outside of comedy to be good at comedy, and I think that's, I mean, that has helped me become more well-rounded as opposed to when I was into something like magic. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. It's definitely made me want to. I guess, yeah, I think I've wanted to try to be a more well-rounded person, but that's definitely helped.
Yeah. What
Like-
kind of music are you into?
I use like rave music.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I used to
Tell me
rave. I
why.
used to rave a lot.
You're lying.
No, I'm dead
Peter,
serious,
I'm interested.
man.
Let's do
Yeah.
an hour on this.
Okay,
When
yeah.
and where?
Everywhere, man. Like New York City, Philadelphia. I've been to one rave-ish in Pittsburgh and a couple like EDM shows here, like Boston, Worcester.
Really?
Yeah.
What intrigues you about that?
I don't think anything intrigues me about it. I just love it, dude. It's like
you don't make music, right?
No, I'm so terrible. You had to play an instrument in 3rd grade, right?
Okay, yes.
Like a string instrument, and I chose the cello. And at the recital, 3rd grade, mind you, the teacher comes up to me. She's like, "So you're just gonna pretend to play because you're so bad."
Holy fuck! That's the worst self-confidence thing I've ever heard.
And then it was like, "Yep, I'm never." That honestly, that kind of like turned me off of anything performing or anything like that for a pretty long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Well, and then it was just like, I'm not gonna try at all. Like, if this is gonna be what failure feels like, oh my god.
Holy fuck! That's like a. That is like that is like one of those stories about that you hear like a kid was just a hermit for 40 years.
Oh, yeah, I wish I remembered that lady's name so I could put her on blast right now.
Facebook.
But yeah, no. So I mean, and realistically, I am really bad at music. Like I'm really bad at making music. I don't think I really have the dexterity or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of. I'm trying to think how I got into it. I don't really even know how I really got into
how
like
does
electronic
somebody get
music.
into that?
Well, you just get into electronic music, you meet people, and then they're like, you want to go to the show, and you go to like a mainstream show, and then somebody else is like, well, let's go to this smaller underground show. Yeah. And next thing you know, you're like in a warehouse, and you're like, what am I doing here? This is I mean, I don't know. Like it's a lot of the same thing. I mean, the community is great. Everybody's so nice and accepting and warm, and like. Just so like such beautiful people, and yeah, then it's all like honestly, I will say like the like feeling when you're in like a dirty warehouse, like sweating really hard, packed in with like 150 people. It feels the same energy as like when you're killing on stage.
Yeah, I
like,
really bet
it's addicting.
I bet. And I bet what you said, it's a warm environment, like a comfortable environment with people.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that. Like, I feel like if you are in a basement,
you're going to get real comfortable
real
quick. Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Definitely.
I bet part of that's even like a physical component, being so close to people, not just the music. You don't have a choice, right? You are so close and packed in with people that it's like, okay, we are brothers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're like, and then it's also like this thing where it's like, oh, well, I guess I'm way too old. I'm 27. I'm way too old to be doing that stuff now.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Don't ever say it. Don't ever say it. Was that like the average age, like 18 or 19 there?
I will say there were people who were older, but then those were kind of like the weirdos.
Okay.
Even now, some of the shows I go to, I'm like, wow, I feel really old. Kids are really young, dude.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, I go to shows and I'm like, I am definitely one of the few people who's old enough to drink here.
Oh, I understand that, man.
Yeah,
Monica and I are
painful.
Monica and I are into Panic at the Disco, and we've been fans since we both bought their first album in like 2005, right?
Yeah.
We've been fans. She's a bigger fan than I am. Like, she's been to almost every concert, every tour. Mm-hmm. And we went 3 times in the last tour, and there's so many kids who are I just want to grab them and be like, name their first album. Tell me what a fever she says what album is. Tell me. I want to know from you.
I like them before they were cool, man.
I want it before they were on the radio.
Yeah.
Like, there is a weird component about getting older that's like. And then part of me is like, I don't want there to ever be like an age limit for when you can do stuff. Like when you say, like you were the weird old person at an EDM show. It's like, I never want there to be.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of that is physically too. I can't be partying till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then like, not? I don't know, dude. Because
we're young souls.
Dude, I went to sleep at 7:30 last Friday. I'm definitely not. I definitely can't be staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning, just like, head bobbing. But and I mean, honestly, like I
understand that.
Like a lot of it was just like, you're shirking responsibility, doing something fun to shirk responsibility, and at some point you've got to be. Funny. I mean, I didn't try at anything until I was like 24, maybe.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know, like school, like extracurriculars, magic. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, you're an adult, you have to pay your rent, you don't want to,
Right.
living with your parents is not an option.
It's not an option.
I mean,
it is an option.
But like, yeah,
You know
but I'm not gonna let it be one. And it's kind of just like, so yeah, I don't know. You just got to grow up. You just got to kind of do your stuff. And I think that's been a really big challenge. Almost like trying to find other things that I'm not I can't obsess over too many things now. Cause it's like, I have to do work and I have to take care of myself to an acceptable standard of society, which sometimes I fail at, but I'm trying.
Yeah, but
so hard.
You just said something so profound you don't even know. Like, you can't focus on as many things. Like, when you're in college and when you're in high school, you have the luxury of going through phases.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's really funny, actually. I'm going to write that down. Because you're right. Because as you're an adult, you can't go through as many phases in your life.
No. I mean, yeah.
Why? What is that? Why? I
mean,
understand that you have
failures,
to work.
You have so much less of a safety net. So it's
True.
like failure.
I mean,
failure is much more serious than it was when you were a kid, and it didn't really matter that much. I think, I mean, I don't know. And then it's like, you in terms of how many friends you have now versus how many friends you had when you were a kid,
too?
You're like, I had so many friends who were into so many different things. I would say 90% of my friends are stand-up friends, and that's all we do.
Yeah.
And that's all we talk. I mean, not all we do and all we talk about, but it's
I
like,
understand.
so I'm not really getting a friend who's really into electronic music at 27 anymore. Like, none of my coworkers, I had an old coworker and literally probably the last 2 weeks she took do you know what Electric Daisy Carnival is?
I don't know.
It's like a
it
pretty
sounds
big,
like a lot of fun.
It's a pretty big thing in Vegas for it's like a music festival for a week.
Yeah.
And she took the time off, and I was like, oh my God, you're into electronic music. And she's like, oh my God, you're into, it's like almost finding those people because that's not something you talk about at work or anything like that. But then it's like, oh, well, now we need to be friends. And
right.
Then I never talked to her again after she left, but that's besides the point. So it's like, I don't know, I'm out in the open about stand-up. I'm not as out in the open about all my other things.
I understand. Well, this is going to be published on the internet.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm open. I'm a comedian, and I'm open, and my parents know, and they're cool with it.
Your parents know? They're cool with it?
Oh,
where are you
so
from
cool.
originally?
Massachusetts.
You're from Massachusetts?
I'm from Massachusetts, yeah. And then went to Penn State, and then I ended up here.
Right.
So
why Penn State? Again, college not that big of a deal, but why fucking Penn State? I'm not saying why Penn State. I'm like, why Penn State?
Like geographically, it was far enough away from my parents that I just wasn't in their sphere of influence so much, but it wasn't so far away that I was starting. Because I mean, I applied to 8 schools, and that was I don't know. Once I got into Penn State, I was like, that's done.
Yeah.
I mean, and the funny thing is, I didn't use it at all for school. I didn't use it at all in terms of its potential for the amazing academics or all the extracurriculars they had. I literally just hung out with my friends in my apartment and then partied a fair bit. And then left Penn State a bunch to go to raves and then or magic tournaments. But I don't know. It was just you can get lost. I really wanted the sense of anonymity, and I could kind of just fly under the radar and do my own thing and not really worry about being accountable to anybody about anything.
Yeah. So you didn't know anybody going into college?
Knew absolutely nobody. There was one girl from my high school who went to Penn State. I never talked to her.
Never talked to her. I'm envious of that. I really am. I don't care who listens to this. I love my high school friends. I really do. But I do regret not going to a school where there was anonymity, where there was I don't know anybody.
Where'd you go to school?
Pitt. I went to Pitt, and I'm from here. I'm from 45 minutes north of here.
Yeah.
And I went to people. I saw people that I went to high school with that I never knew. I remember walking to class one day, and this girl who I've never talked to her ever. She was a grade older than me, and we crossed paths, and we both smiled at each other because we fucking knew each other. I'm like, and I remember saying whenever I left for college, I either want to go to a school that I'm so far away that I can't come home every weekend, or I want to go to a school so close I want to live at home. And I chose the school right in the middle. It doesn't make sense to go home every weekend, but I can't.
Still know everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
My mom I love my mom, but my mom is available for lunch any day. And I am kind of envious of people who went hours away, like even to the south. Like I wonder
dude,
where
yeah.
my life, what would my life be like if I went
If
to
you went to
Alabama,
Texas?
right?
Oh,
Or I
dude,
went to Texas.
Yeah.
Like where,
You'd
what
get
would
eaten
that
alive,
be?
young boy.
I would, man. I'm a
No.
pasty white idiot. I would not thrive. I wouldn't thrive.
No, yeah. I mean, I will say, like, I mean, that was the second time, like, I moved to Penn State and then I pretty much moved to Pittsburgh knowing absolutely nobody again.
Yeah.
So I pretty much did that twice. And it's
yeah.
pretty hard, dude. I mean, I probably
Yeah.
spent a good 6 months more or less, not like alone, but
Yeah.
like, you know, you don't have those friends that you always had. Like, I don't know, making new friends. I mean, that's something I never really valued, is how important your friends are until you're like, don't have any anymore.
I get it. 100%, dude. Like I shouldn't say that to be like, oh, I regret everything
No,
I
mean,
did in college.
There is good and there's
There
good
is
and
good,
there's
yeah.
bad. Oh yeah, definitely.
But like I did spend a lot of my weekends just making inside jokes with my friends about fucking nothing. Like, and now how often do I see these people? Like never. I see my two best friends maybe once every 4 months.
And they
it's
still
like,
live here?
No, they live in Connecticut and,
Yeah, well,
and
there you go.
Virginia. And and there's an ounce of regret that it's like, why didn't I do that kind of stuff? Why didn't I meet more people in college that were like, no, I guess I shouldn't say that, just far away, right?
Oh, yeah.
There is like a bit of what?
What would have happened? Oh,
Everything's great. I should say that.
I swear, everything's great. Mom, we love you. We'll go to lunch
love
with you
Mom.
anytime you
I
want.
will go to lunch with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like everything's pretty good now too. But
Everything's great.
It's definitely been hard. I mean, especially like moving to Pittsburgh before I figured out I wanted to do stand up was like so isolating.
Did you move for work?
I moved for a girlfriend, and that didn't work out.
No.
Yeah, dude, we got married, and then I got divorced, and then.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I didn't know that about
Really?
you, Peter. No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so then and then she was like the only friend I had until we got divorced, and then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and
I
then
need
you're
to
like,
figure out something.
what now?
Yeah,
What
I need
now?
to
What
figure out
happens?
something real quick.
Is that what got? Do you feel like any part of that got you into stand up?
I mean, I don't know if I would have. Again, it was like I'm really obsessive about things. So it was like when I was in the relationship, I was really obsessive about the relationship.
Yeah.
And then which you're not really making friends when you're just like. I mean, I worked a
yeah.
ton, and then I just went home, and like that was it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if I would have dedicated as much time as I do now if I was still in that relationship.
I get it.
And I think that's a good thing. I mean, I think I'm much happier now than I was then.
Yeah. If you're going to do stand-up, you have to find the people that are like, I support you entirely with this. And I'm glad Monica's in the other room because I'll say it to her face because we talk about it. But it's like I found somebody who understands what this is and is supportive with it.
Yeah.
And you have to. You have to find somebody that also kind of loves it as much as you do. And that's tough. Like that's a tough thing.
I mean, I don't even, that's the thing is like, I guess I don't even really know. Cause I guess it kind of coincided. I started doing stand up before I got divorced, but then
You did.
Yeah. Probably like, I don't know, a couple months maybe or something like that. But then I don't know. But then after that, it was like, well, I literally don't have any. It's like you don't want to be home by yourself all the time. So it's like I'm just gonna do as many open mics as I can.
Yeah.
And it's like you've got to pour yourself into something. And then it's like I think that was kind of like, oh yeah, well, like I don't know. That's why I think the community is like so great, and that's why I'm so grateful for everyone. I mean. Yeah, I don't know. It's
a very loving, understanding support group that you have in comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
absolutely.
in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, but it's like, dude, I get it.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. I mean, people are so great. People are so nice. People are so, like, generous.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. It's crazy, dude. And I think some of that is, like, I don't know, maybe I just get along really well with comedians, and I don't really I don't know. I don't get along with a lot of people. Not, like... Yeah. I'm mean to a lot of people are mad, but like I don't click with people like I do with other comedians.
Yeah.
Especially from like different backgrounds.
Interesting. What do you mean?
I don't know. Like I think I probably wouldn't be friends with you just meet people who you wouldn't have met otherwise.
Yeah.
like
For
like,
sure, for sure, for
like
sure.
you see a lot of people from your high school all the time and you stick with them, or but then you do something else and it's like, oh well, I meet all these people from different high schools, people who didn't go to high school, people who, you know, just like a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, it's funny, I would say 2 or 3% of me is doing stand-up just to have something that's different than the people that I went to high school with.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely part of it. Like, I look at my friend group and they were very smart and very intelligent, and I hung with them, but like I was not as smart or intelligent, and I'm still not as smart as intelligent as they are. Like one of my best buddies is he's a researcher at Johns Hopkins University, right?
Yeah,
like
he's got you beat.
He's got me beat on the intelligence. He really does. Like, he could think better than I can. But this comedy, and I've talked about it a million times, but comedy is an asset to me. It's an asset to who I am as a person. And you're right. You do need that, especially with what happened with the divorce. You have to. You said it. You have to find something to pour yourself into.
Oh yeah, and yeah. I mean, I think it's not only like an asset to you, but it's just like what, like, in terms of, you know, you're talking about introspection, you're talking about personal growth or something like that. Like, what's something that's like, you know, all the public speaking confidence. Like, what's gonna help you?
Yeah.
What's gonna give you something in return? As much, like, comedy will give you as much as you put into it, I feel, or at least I definitely,
a million times, dude.
I definitely
exactly
haven't hit the limit yet, and I feel like I mean, yeah, I haven't put in that much in terms of time, but like, yeah, I don't know, you get so much out of it, and I feel like I've spent a lot of time doing things where you put a lot into it, and you're not really getting that return.
What do you feel like you put yourself into that you haven't gotten a lot out of?
Oh, I mean, my marriage, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Magic was great and it got a lot, but like, you know, in terms of like, my best friend from high school who I played a lot of Magic with, I'm still best friends with.
Yeah.
But then everybody else or I guess that's not true. In college, most of my friends were from Magic too. Yeah. Magic was pretty good to make friends, despite what people think.
Yeah. Despite what people think.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really know what I mean.
I'll relate to you in that, especially with the marriage thing. I just think about the amount of relationships that I've been that I'm focused on being my best person for that, then I don't get anything back out of that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't get anything out of this and that is a frustrating thing. So you come to stand up and you get to a relationship that you're in now, and it's like when you get stuff back from that.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's any better feeling.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's any better feeling.
It's just like it's a healthy relationship.
Right.
Like that's a healthy relationship when you're getting something back and you're putting something in, like give and take. And that's like stand-ups, like you can have a very, I like to think I have a very healthy relationship with stand-up, and I get a lot out of it, and I love to put time and effort into it.
I'm fucking glad, man.
Yeah,
that's great.
Me too. It's so awesome.
You want to go to Hambones?
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. Okay, so you haven't listened to an episode, so we're gonna end with, this is a question that Monica's friends asked me.
Yeah.
Before we started dating, almost to like test the waters on if she should date this guy. So I'm gonna ask you this question. Do they know you
stole it from them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, they do. One of her friends say listen to like all of the last bits of episodes, because I asked this question on every episode to end it.
Yeah.
And just to get the answers with them. So, Peter, you're at a bar. Night is going bad. Bartender was revealed to be a Nazi, which is bad. Has been poisoning people's drinks. Jeez, there's quicksand in the back.
Jesus.
Swallowed up 12 Asian people. It's
what happens when you go to cheerleaders, man.
Peter A. Okay. Okay. But it is also karaoke night, and it is your job to save the entire night. What?
No wonder it's going poorly.
I forgot. Harry Gilliland said pretty much the same thing. It's also karaoke night. Your job to save the entire evening with song. What song are you singing?
Do you do musicals? Defying Gravity.
Thank
from
you
Wicked.
for saying that. That's so great.
Oh yeah.
Why?
I don't know. That's this. I listen to that song.
Oh, look at Monica.
Look at
Monica. She's very happy that you said that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. That's like. I wish I could do musicals. That is the song I listen to the most before a set to get me pumped up.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead
That's
serious.
crazy.
I have it on my phone twice, and I'll listen because that's how long it takes me to get from my house to the Smiling Moose on a Monday,
that's
walking to it, and
funny.
I'll listen to that twice, and I'll be so hyped.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
So
That's great.
and then I'll drop the mic and then do a shot.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
You have
no
anything you
problem.
want to plug, promote?
Nah, just be happy, man.
Just be happy, man.
Yeah,
You get to sign us off. You get to say anything you'd like. I've had people insult me. No,
Oh,
nobody's
okay.
insulted me.
Nobody's
People say
insulted-
great things, bad
Yeah.
things. Say whatever you'd like.
Yeah, but these aren't choking hands. No, they're stabbing hands because I believe it's what's on the inside that matters. That's my closing
Thank you.
bit for all my
right.
jokes.
Here.
Yeah, that's my closing bit. There we go.
I love it.
Out of context. Have a good night.